Hello and welcome to the Just Phantom Comics YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at the top 20 highest rated shows based on DC Comics publications as of May 15th, 2022, which include imprints like Vertigo, Wildstorm and others. One has to take into account that all series are not rated equally, as some series are rated by thousands of people and others are only rated by a handful of people. One disclaimer is that a series which has not been rated by both sides cannot be included. Many older series don't have a Rotten Tomatoes score and thus cannot be included. I won't just take the score from one single website like Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb, but I will combine the ratings, giving us an aggregated score based on two different highly popular websites. With that long intro out of the way, let's take a look at the top 20 DC Comics shows, and I will naturally start from lowest to highest. Number 20. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your view, Black Lightning is the first series to feature on my list. Black Lightning features predominantly black cast in the city of Freeland, Georgia. The series focuses on Jefferson Pierce, a retired superhero and the principal of Garfield High. He is eventually forced out of retirement as Tobias Will takes over the city. Black Lightning aired on the CW from 2018 to 2021 with 4 seasons lasting 58 episodes. Black Lightning has a critic score of 9.2 and an audience score of 5.0 and an IMDb score of 6.0, which gives it a total score of 6.73. I won't be talking about every series for that long, as the video would just be way too long. 19. We have 2 different series multiple decades apart, and it is The Flash. And no, not the CW Flash that we all familiar with, but the Flash series from the 90s starring John Wesley Shipp plays Barry's father in the CW Flash series 2014. Krypton joins the Flash at the lower echelons of the DC TV shows. I was really disappointed when it was cancelled, as I thought it was one of the better DC shows out there. Flash has a rating of 6.9, 7.7, 7.1, and Krypton has a rating of 8.0, 6.9, 6.8, for a total 7.3. 18. We all know Smallville, one of the most groundbreaking superhero shows lasting for a whopping 10 seasons. Smallville has a score of 7.0, 6.0 and 7.5 with a total score of 7.36. 17. 2 series that contrast each other. We have Gotham, which lasted for a total of 5 seasons with 100 episodes, and Constantine that only lasted for 1 season with 13 episodes before getting cancelled. Jumping straight into the combined score, these 2 series sit at a 7.4 total score. 16. I'm surprised that Arrow is so low down on the list, as it had some of the best TV has to offer from season 1 to 2. It lasted for 8 seasons with 170 episodes, which may have worked against it, as the quality dropped significantly. It did however have a revival with season 6 and 8. I fear without those seasons it could rank even lower. Arrow has a combined score of 7.43. 15. Another series that got the axe in 2022, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, has had 7 seasons since 2016. Legends of Tomorrow was cancelled on a cliffhanger. It has a total score of 7.567, or rounded up to 7.58, I believe. 14. The Batman series ran from 1966 to 1969, ran for 3 seasons with 120 episodes. It starred the late Adam West as Batman and Burt Ward as Robin. Batman has a score of 7.2, 8.1, 7.5 and a total score of 7.6. 13. Now to the modern day, we have The Flash from 2014 starring Grant Gustin in the titular role. It shares its spot with a very divisive HBO Max series Titans, which has probably the worst death ever seen on screen. The series share a combined score of 7.63. 12. A follow-up to a movie that was directed by a very disliked director, it is Watchmen. I was disappointed that Watchmen ended only after 1 season, as it ended upon a kind of a cliffhanger. Watchmen has a combined score of 7.767. 11. I'm going to read to you what a person on Twitter said, which I found to be pretty funny at the time, despite the series in question being very good in my opinion. And I quote, "Pennyworth has to be a money laundering scheme. I've never seen a single piece of marketing for it, or found a single person talking about it ever." Number 10. Now to probably one of my all-time favorite series, despite me still needing to watch the last 2 seasons, because at the time I watched the show, the episodes weren't available on Netflix. I just never finished it. With all that said, it is iZombie starring Rose McIver. is Liv Moore, an ordinary girl that was infected with zombieism at a rager party. The series has a 9.2 critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a combined score of 7.93. Don't let the combined rating deter you, as I highly recommend this series. For once, listen to Rotten Tomatoes critics. 9. Swamp Thing was probably the highest quality DC show at the time it was airing, but unfortunately it got cancelled prematurely. It starred Crystal Reed as Abigail Abby Holland, Alec Bean as Alec Holland, and Derek Mears as Swamp Thing. And just to be clear, Alec Holland and Swamp Thing are one and the same. Well, kind of. And Abby never actually got to marry Alec Holland in the series, so she should actually be called Abby Arcane. Swamp Thing sits at a combined 7.96 and is the last series under a combined score of 8. 27 years apart, we have Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman and DC's Stargirl. Lois and Clark was released in 1939 and lasted 4 seasons with 88 episodes. I watched quite a few episodes when the streaming service DC Universe was still up and running, and it actually had me hooked, and I think I'm going to watch it again. Only problem is that I actually have a hard time sitting down and actually just watching something. I have a combined 20 plus shows and movies on my to watch list on Netflix and HBO Max. And then we have Stargirl, which I pray doesn't or hasn't been cancelled, depending on when you watch this video. So far, Stargirl has 2 seasons and has been renewed for a 3rd, but with the current purge Warner Brothers Discovery is committing on CW, no one knows if it will actually happen. Both series sit at a pretty rating of 8.0. 7. Next up we have two opposites. Lucifer, which lasted for 6 seasons since 2016, and Preacher, also from 2016. Preacher lasted for 4 seasons and ended in 2019. Preacher stars Mamma Mia star Dominic Cooper and Academy Award nominee Ruth Negga. I'm black, by the way. Lucifer and Preacher have a score of 8.03. 6. Human Target, 2011 to 2012, not to be confused with Human Target from 1992. It was cancelled after 2 seasons by Fox. It has a combined rating of 8.167 or rounded up to 8.17. 5. Superman and Lois is probably the best thing CW currently has to offer, if it doesn't get cancelled, that is. Superman and Lois has a critic score of 8.6, an audience score of 8.3, and an IMDb of 7.0, giving it a total of 8.23. 4. If there's one show out there that is based, it is Doom Patrol. It's absolutely unhinged. It stars Matt Bomer, Brendan Fraser, Timothy Dalton, April Bowlby, Joanne Wade, and Diane Guerrero. It has a rating of 8.3. 3. Wonder Woman from 1975 or 1976, depending on the pilot episode, stars Linda Carter and was a groundbreaking series at the time. A female-centric superhero show lasting 3 seasons. It only took another 37 years to get a live-action Wonder Woman movie. Wonder Woman has a perfect critic score of 10, an audience score of 8.6, and an IMDb score of 7.0, giving it a total score of 8.53. 2. Fantasy drama and post-apocalyptic series Sweet Tooth is based on the limited comic book series by Jeff Lemire of the same name. Interestingly, it is produced by couple Susan and Robert Downey Jr. It was renewed for a 2nd season, but there's no word on if it will ever happen. The only silver lining is that it doesn't air on the CW, but on Netflix, though that has become a problem in and of itself. Sweet Tooth has a critic score of 9.7, an audience score of 8.7, and on IMDb it sits at a 7.8, giving it a total score of 8.73. Number 1. In first place, probably to no one's surprise, we have Peacemaker with great ratings across the board. It has a critic score of 9.4, an audience score of 8.9, and on IMDb it has 8.4, giving it a total score of 8.9, almost cracking the sacred 9. The only series to be part of the DC EU so far. It is also the highest rated DC series of all times. It is a spin-off of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Peacemaker stars John Cena as Peacemaker, who is phenomenal in the role, as well as Jennifer Holland, Freddie Stroma, Danielle Brooks, Steve Agee, Robert Patrick, and Chikwudi Iwuji. Those have been the top 20 best rated series based on DC Comics publications. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and consider subscribing if you want more lists like these. Thank you so much for watching.